Alright, so I left off. I want to explain to y'all why I'm living in my car, how I got here. So when I got out, I went and got a room for rent in Newport News. And I had several lined up jobs and several opportunities. And I said no to a lot of them, not because they weren't good opportunities and I wasn't going to take them, but I really wanted to go back to work for Amazon warehouse because I loved that job so much before I went into jail. That's what I wanted to do, so that's what I did. And when I got there was people there that were like, for whatever reason, just out to get me. Now, I know that sounds crazy, and I can literally tell you certain incidences, like there was this chick and this dude that were literally like just talking mad shit wherever I went and literally making sure I heard it. Of course, I was ignoring it most of the time. And there was like instances when it was my birthday and I was at work and they said go get a cupcake, free cupcake, and I went to get one and it wasn't there, and I came back and asked like where they at, and then they tried to act like I was out of place or not where I was supposed to be, even though I was told to go get one. And then like another thing is when I tried to show that same chick how to do something better, she's like, I don't fucking like you, get the fuck away from me. And I was like, okay, well that's a fucking you problem. And she tried to say I was harassing her, which was like, what the fuck? Well, whatever. But you can ask anybody that saw me work, my work ethic was on point. And people didn't even realize that I had sciatic nerve pain in my back, lower back, acting up so bad that I was in so much pain the whole time. But it didn't affect me. Anyways, that happened to the point where they put me on paid suspension, mind you. And they were messing with my money left and right, though, on paid suspension. It's weird as crap. And, I mean, I'm not even mad because, you know, like, it is what it is. It allowed me to kind of run my businesses. But at the same time, when I was living in Newport News, the guys there, they were on some other shit, you know what I mean? Like, they were literally on the computer at their house on their Wi-Fi, using their computer to scam me through cryptocurrency, you know, and I fell for it, that's on me, but still, to be scammed by the people you're living with, and them acting like it's funny, you know, and I'm like I didn't know, whatever, and then I left there. I'd already paid rent. I still had like 20 days left before I had to pay rent again or something like that. I left and I went to my parents' house, and mind you, the last time I was living at my parents' house, when I was there, my dad had a freaking shit cow because I don't even know why he was such a dick for. He was just like calling me an asshole, saying I'm a piece of shit, you know, mad as fuck because I had a business or something or whatever, you know. But I was doing stuff on Facebook or whatever, you know. Some things I might not have done quite right, but I was doing them for a reason. It wasn't like I was trying to cause any drama or whatever. And little did they know that I have so many people, you know, around me that are protecting me, but they wouldn't understand that. I just was like, whatever. You know, but he was such an a-hole that he actually wrote me an eviction notice, and he was drunk when he did it, obviously, because it said, you have 30 days to vacate the premises, and you must take your dog. What? He was saying my dog is still there. Kudos to my mother, such a sweetheart. Anyway, they were part of the smear campaign that was ran to begin with anyway, my mother and my father. However, my mother, when she realized I wasn't doing nothing wrong and didn't deserve it, completely about-faced. Sorry for her, she had Alzheimer's, you know, so her memory's going in this, and she's dealing with all that, and she doesn't know how to fix it, because at this point, what can she possibly do to go against all them? We're all family, we're all supposed to get along and help each other, but she's stuck in the middle, you know, and she got Alzheimer's. She gotta look out for herself, you know, try to keep her health, otherwise she ain't good for nobody, and I get that, and I love her to death. She's been a sweetheart all her life. Anyways, I moved there, and Dad's an asshole, and all I'm trying to do is study, you know, and I'm getting paid from the unpaid suspension. He's like, why don't you go to freaking work? And the funny thing is, I was going to work doing landscaping, and the boss there was like, oh, we don't have no work today, it's raining. Oh no, we don't have no work today. He's lying his butt off. Chuck's or Banks Landscaping, you know, and he doesn't even have an LLC. He's running that shit illegal as fuck, cash in hand. You want to get legit about it, but I don't really care, you know what I'm saying? I don't really give a fuck, you know? Get your money, you feel me? It is what it is. I don't care, you know what I'm saying? I'm not going to put all this business out there, but I ain't going to call people out for what they are. You know what I'm saying? Even people that I work with there say he's a freaking jackass when it comes to work. Like, why you gotta get mad at people and fucking yell at people at the end of the day? Like, call them dumbasses because, you know, they're not doing something right. Like, are you retarded? You know, one time he even was like, oh, well, Jay, you can't do that. I guess you guys the short bus. So I sat down on the back of a truck, and I was like, he said, what are you doing? Just sitting down? I'm like, I'm sorry. I don't understand you. I ride the short bus. And, of course, he smirked and had nothing to rebuttal about that because I shot him back with kindness in a not sarcastic way, but this is how you know, what, you know? And there's another incident, but we're not going to go there. Anyways, I've been dealing with a lot. And that was just one room for rent in Newport News. I left there, came to my parents, dealt with that shit. I left there early before I got evicted and went and rented a room in Virginia Beach. Krista Kabalua, or whatever her name is. I don't know. I didn't really know her. She seen me at, you know, what was it? The bar Papa's Pub, which I love Papa's Pub. And she said she knew me. And it's funny, though, because I found her on Craigslist. And I went there, and she gave me the key before I paid anything. 2 weeks before I was going to move in. I was like, it's yours. I trust you. I know you, blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? It's like, all right, cool. So when I was ready to move in, I moved in, paid her the rent, you know what I'm saying? And then, like, not even 2 weeks later, you know, like, I guess she wanted to be with me. I don't really know. All I know is I wasn't interested in being with her or being with anybody at the time. I was trying to focus on what I need to do, you know what I'm saying? And at that point, that's when I got scammed again, cryptocurrency. My fault. I let myself get scammed. But I got scammed to the point where my dumb tail sold my car and everything, plus $2,000 on top of that. So I lost like over $4,000 because there was a good grand in my car with the stuff. Stupid is as stupid does, you know, but whatever. I don't think Chevy dealership should have ever bought my car for $2,000 with all my stuff in it. Nonetheless, it wasn't worth $2,000. Make that make sense. Anyways, freaking that happened, and I have a car. And she's like, well, you can't live here if you don't have a car or a job. I was like, oh, well, I'll get a car back. And I'll get a job even though I have nothing. And that's exactly what I did. I went and got a job at Goodwill, and I got a car back. You know what I'm saying? With the help of my mother, mind you. Now, during this time, my pops was trying to look good, helping me. But I distinctly remember when he was drunk in the car, dropping me off. And I wasn't even going to ask, but he was like, if you're going to ask about, you know, the inheritance money, well, it goes to account here and account here and account here and an offshore account, and then it goes to your mom's account, the SSI. I was like, okay. That's weird that you just said all that. You're like admitting guilt, but all right. I wasn't going to ask, but thank you for telling me the truth, even though you're probably not going to remember telling me the truth because you're drunk as shit and that's what you do. But anyways, freaking, so yeah, there's that. And, of course, I had my car. I got my car, you know what I'm saying? Thank God to the blessing people who did that. And I still have that car to this day. And, you know, I've been fixing it up as much as I could here and there, keeping it running. And so I got a job. I got a car, you know what I'm saying? She's like, you still can't live here. I'm like, why? It's not a good fit. I'm like, oh. But yet, when I'm about to move out, she comes crying to me. Tears, crying, like, please, Jay, don't leave. You're a good person. You don't deserve any of the way I treated you. Da 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 da. If you don't pay rent, I'm gonna lose my house. So me, with a big heart, was like, all right, I don't want you to lose your house either. It's not who I am, you know what I'm saying? So I paid her rent when I really could have just paid the studio, gone to my job, you know, kept the studio, gone to my job, and say worked and all that stuff. Got a, you know, membership, showered, all that, blah blah blah. But no, instead I paid rent, which is like what I had, you know what I'm saying? And still, she's like, you still can't live here. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I just leave, and I start going to hotels, you know what I'm saying? Mom looked out, or whatever. And then I got another room for rent at Elise. And that guy was on some other stuff, too. Talking about you got to work, you got to be out 40 hours or whatever. And I'm trying to work from home, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not trying to, I got my whole Wi-Fi set up and on. I'm like, whatever. But that didn't work out. And then, so I moved back to my parents. I said what I needed to say to get in there. And then, of course, my dad assaulted me and pressed charges. And still better than that. And that came with the looting, with the corrupt cop and stuff. And then, of course, after that, I was like, I'm not getting another room for rent. I'm not doing it. And that's why I've been living in my car. Because I'm just not dealing with the drama or partaking in drugs, which people were doing drugs at these rooms for rent, and the drama and the scamming and BS. And regardless, much love.